Okay, here is Wednesday's homework. So Wednesday, reread and answer questions 1 through 3. So we've been reading the story about Down the Grand Canyon. So let's go ahead and read this, and then you'll be answering questions 1, 2, and 3, and then you will be doing these 4-digit by 1-digit problems to multiply. All right, so down the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon was too enormous for words. My uncle, my aunt, my cousin, and I were planning to go down to the bottom of it. Why do we have to go down on mules? Rick asked. The canyon is a mile deep. We can't carry our equipment down a trail that drops a mile in elevation without using mules, Uncle Paul said. We were on the South Kiabab Trail, which drops off suddenly beyond Yaqui Point. The trail zigzags in a path down the canyon wall called switchbacks. The drop on the downhill side of the trail is so steep that it kind of forces you to look all the way down to the bottom of the canyon. Being another 5 feet in the air on the back of a swaying mule made it seem even farther and more dangerous. We hadn't gone far when Rick called fossil tracks. Uncle Paul, Aunt Carla, and I got off our mules and walked over to a slab of milestone that lay beside the trail. They were lizards, Aunt Carla explained, pointing at the tracks. Uncle Paul got out his guide to fossils and identified these as the tracks of a lizard that had lived 200 million years ago. For every few hundred feet we descend on the trail, we go back a few million years in time, Uncle Paul said. I thought about the distance we were traveling down. That means we're going back millions and millions of years in time, I shouted. I bent down and picked up a handful of sand. Uncle Paul, I said, the thickness of a grain of sand is equal to how old you are. Uncle Paul chuckled. Nice math, Kim. Okay, so you are going to answer the questions, and then you may read part of the passage to help you. So number 1, which character narrates the story? A narrator, okay, is the person who is telling the story. So what this question is asking you is, which character tells the story? Does Kim tell the story, Rick, Aunt Carla, or Uncle Paul? Number 2, which event happens last in the story? F, Rick finds fossil tracks. G, Uncle Paul gets out his fossil guide. H, Kim makes a joke about her uncle's age. I, Kim and her relatives ride on mules down the trail. Number 3, what are switchbacks? Okay, so you might have to use context clues for this question. A, lizard whose prints have been fossilized. G, paths that zigzag down the canyon wall. C, slabs of milestone along the canyon trail. D, mules that people ride down the canyon trail. Okay, and then you are going to do these problems, which is multiply a 4-digit number by a 1-digit number. And as I said before, you can go ahead and use that box method, or you can do it the traditional way. I particularly like to use the box method. I feel like it's easier. So let's go ahead and do problem 1 just to get ourselves more familiar with this box method. So I'm looking at the problem, and I see that there are 4 digits on top and 1 digit on the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the 2 right here. That's that 1 digit. I'm going to put it on the left side. And then I'm going to divide my box into 4 parts. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let me just write 5,213 times 2. So that's the problem that we're working through. Okay, so start looking for your place values. So there is 3. So that's my ones. I'm going to start. There's 1, 10, there's 2 hundreds, and there's 5 thousands. Okay, so I'm going to say 5,000 times 2. Then I'm going to do 2 times 200, so 200 times 2. Then I'm going to do 10 times 2, and then 3 times 2. Okay, so then now you broke it down even better. So it's going to be 5,000 times 2. Well, 2 times 5 is 10, so that's going to be 10,000. Okay, and then I just did 10 and then the 3 zeros. And then 2 times 2 is 4, and there's 2 zeros. Then 2 times 1 is 2, and there's 1 zero. And 3 times 2 is 6. So I'm going to put those all together. So we have 10,000, then you have 400, then you have 20, and then you have 6. Okay, once you have all those, you're going to go ahead and add it all together. So 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 6, that's 6. And then 0, that's 2. 0 plus 4 is 4. That's 0. And then you bring down the 1 because these should all be zeros. So then your answer should be 10,426. Now, just for funsies, let's see if we get the same answer. Let's do it the traditional way. So 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 5 is 10. So that's 10,426, and you get the same answer. Okay, now a few of you are probably going to say like, oh, that's, it's probably easier just to do it the traditional way. If that's how you choose to do it, then that's fine. You have 2 choices on what you are the most comfortable with doing. Okay? And then you have 2 pages here where you can show your work. So that is your homework for Wednesday.